Marshmallow Fanboy, back with another review, this time of Star Wars The Black Series 2-pack, Captain Enoch and Night Trooper from the series Star Wars Ahsoka. First, I want to say that when they announced, like, there's going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn in this season, I thought, oh my gosh, I had read all those novels when I was much younger, and the novels, it's hard to explain to people who weren't there, but what the novels were the only Star Wars things they were putting out back then. There was no action figures, there was nothing. It was books, and the books came first, and then there were the die-cast little action heroes, and then some little things trickled out, and then we got those weird Power of the Force figures where everybody looked like they had been bodybuilding for the last 20 years. Just weird stuff, and we were getting, then the comic books, and we were just getting a lot of Star Wars stuff, but the books were that first sort of entry, and if you read that, you're already a little bit, brimming with anticipation. It's Grand Admiral Thrawn. But then when you finally meet him, and he's on a nightmare stranded Star Destroyer, living off just sort of the basics, and all of the stormtroopers' armors are just severely damaged, and there's no way for them to fix it. And they've been through hell, and they're, reanimated. They're basically zombies. And, you're just like, what? I mean, some of you were like, come on, zombies. But the Force has always been a mystical thing. It doesn't exist. Why shouldn't zombies also exist in the Star Wars universe? For some reason, people are like, I want it to be more realistic. And I don't care either way. I either like it or I don't like it. And sometimes I can't really explain why I liked it or why I didn't like it. These are the portraits on the back. These are the portraits that probably would have been on the sides if they'd been individually packed. There is one Night Trooper that is individually packed, and he has sort of half a mask missing, and he has a sort of a zombified visage below it. That's very cool. That would have been more appropriate for Halloween, but this will have to do. But I love the paint differences and the sculpting differences. This is, definitely kind of an army builder, and they did that with the other Night Trooper. But you could vary the coloring in the armor. You can vary some of the damage. You can have a different helmet with a different paint job on it. You just go to town, because Star Destroyer has, 1,000 stormtroopers on it. You can absolutely have just about anything you'd want as far as a stormtrooper. And Captain Enoch, all the gold on him is really, really cool. It's got a blaster with gold on it. It's got a little gold underneath that. I'm not sure, maybe he killed somebody and took that off of them. But he's got a lot of repurposed stuff. He's got the red throughout, so maybe he took some uniform or something, mixed it with that, spray painted things that weren't working, maybe. Of course, a pauldron up here. It's very cool. But that is these two figures in the package. How about we take them out and see what we think about them in real life? Okay, now that they are out of their package, let's take a closer look at Captain Enoch and Night Trooper. Let's start with Captain Enoch, who is appropriately the most stylistically dressed. I don't know what you would call that. He's the most decked out. He's the most sort of thought out. He probably has the best parts. Well, he's probably expected to still set an example. So for other stormtroopers, maybe there's, things they're allowed to get away with because they're not as important and because it's completely necessary. But for him, he has like a face plate that's added to the mask for sort of an added level of whoa, like that. And he's got, the Imperial marks on his head. He's all in on it. He's got gold cracks, as though, anytime they came across gold, he was able to use that to weld his armor. So his armor has gold hits everywhere. the gold mask and everything. So apparently they ran into beings that had a lot of gold, and he sort of made it into sort of a trophy for himself. I don't think any of that stuff is sort of spray painted on, although it certainly could have been. But with the cracks in the armor, it doesn't make any sense. It makes more sense that this is the result of welding or using the gold to sort of fuse pieces together than it is anything else. His armor is not held together by tape, which it appears that the other ones are held together by tape. So it makes sense that there's some sort of cement or something that makes the uniform a little bit harder, a little bit more resilient. And it could be that's the result, is that it's just a more well thought out. And of course it has the sort of the pant skirt, but it has sort of the red inside the armor too. So it's like he's wearing maybe like an undershirt underneath or something that makes him more comfortable. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Captain Enoch is undead also, and he's making decisions, or if he is, human. But I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen this series. I did watch it. I just didn't rewatch it. It was pretty good. It was okay. I'm not gonna rewatch it. Even if there's a season 2, I'm probably not gonna rewatch it just to catch up. So for the Night Trooper, this is sort of the generic one, but in the generic, there's so much room for play in this. Not only can you turn the helmet different colors, the armor different colors, you can weather everything a little bit differently, but you have access to everything Star Wars. So what you could say is that the whole, or not the whole, but the Star Destroyer has access to a lot of things before it got into trouble. And maybe they had confiscated an armor here, a weapon there, something different that the stormtroopers could be outfitted with. So stormtroopers could be outfitted with, giant pauldrons from like Gamorrean guards and things like that, and just weird things that you wouldn't normally find, and you'd go, well, why? But that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to. It can just go over a damaged piece of armor that, the back is markedly different from Captain Enoch. Captain Enoch has a very different thing, and he has a different sort of helmet too. The little dots at the top, is that like a pilot helmet? Maybe, is that what the implication is? Maybe this is because the pilot helmet has the 2 Imperial logos at the top, and the armor itself, maybe it was an older style or a space armor. Maybe, you know how the space armor has the different paneling here than the classic Stormtrooper has here. Maybe that's it. So in that you can mix and match everything, because the Star Destroyer probably had a little bit of everything on board. So access to different weapons, access to different kind of uniforms, access to different sort of thing. I'm sure there's one nightmare Stormtrooper running around with, all kinds of things that you probably wouldn't normally give a Stormtrooper. But it's very cool that we're getting this, and we got the other one. I can't remember what that one looked like, but it was another Night Trooper that had half a battle damaged face, and the rest of it was sort of just worn out. Oh, that has some gold in it too. Maybe my theory before was bad, and the gold doesn't do anything, or it does do something specific, and it's just not something that I know about. Yeah, I'm not sure, but this is a great sort of intro to an army builder. Be great to have more of these. It'd be great if you could go to a Disney park and build your own Night Trooper, Black Series Night Trooper, not the vintage ones, but they do the vintage droid ones, and those are very cool. But it would be really awesome to have more of these. And so far, we've only gotten one Night Trooper, and then we got the other Night Trooper, so 2 total, and a Captain Enoch, which isn't bad. But with all of the different variations you can get, you don't have to have them sort of screen accurate. You could be like, yeah, this guy was on board somewhere. He's pretty cool, right? You can release them as 2-packs with a repaint. You'd be like, we're going to release another Ahsoka, and she's going to look a little different, but we're also going to, release this bizarre night trooper guy that, never showed up on screen, but he was there somewhere. He was in the cargo hold, I think. So these two are, I think, a Walmart exclusive. If I'm not mistaken, they weren't real pricey. The last time I checked on them, I think they were clearing them out, but you might still be able to get them on eBay. They shouldn't be too expensive, but they are very cool, and they will be army buildable eventually. So you will have more of these guys. And I'm saying that because I'm hoping that. But until next time, enjoy your toys.